So welcome, Nikita, in the interview today.
Hi, Lars. Yeah.
So maybe you can start with a small introduction. Who are you and what are you doing at Lande?
Yes, so I am CEO and co-founder of Lande, which was previously LendSecured. So basically, I'm doing what CEOs usually do.
Yeah.
Managing the company, hiring people, creating strategic plans, and so on, guiding the development of the platform.
Yeah, I see you all the day and you're really busy, so but you are also inside the team, so you don't have your own office and so on.
Yeah, we have an open space, so basically I sit with my colleagues. So I like it this approach the more because you're involved in the process. You can see some problems very fast and to solve them immediately. Yeah, and also I don't know, just working with colleagues is
It's quite nice.
It's quite nice, and I don't understand this separation in separate offices. Yeah.
So recently you visited also the Invest in Stuttgart. So we nearly didn't manage to talk there because it was really busy. So, but what was your impression, and will you come back to Stuttgart?
Yeah, from Stuttgart it was actually a great experience. We had many new investors coming to our booth, speaking about Lande and agricultural investments, and also we met some already existing investors which invested for a year. So this was a surprise for me because we didn't schedule it, in pre-orders, so people just coming. And they said, "Oh, we will already invest in LendSecured and Lande," and they were quite happy. Some people came and took selfies. For me, it's it's new. Yeah, they were quite satisfied, and we also talked with lots of people, and yeah, it's bloggers as well. Yeah, but it's quite busy. Also, we went with a team, so we had some team events. We went to Mercedes Museum, and it was also anniversary for me and my wife, 15 years. And actually, one couple of investors recommended to go to Stuttgart Zoo, so we did it on the last day. Also quite nice experience. Yeah.
It's always nice also to meet the community, and it's always a nice event every year.
Very friendly people. Yeah.
So let's come back to Lande. When you started Lande back in the days, I think you started in the real estate sector, right? And then you managed also to start Lande. What was the vision for the company?
Yeah, so we have like 10 years of experience in lending, in real estate lending, and in a little bit in development also prior. So we know the lending procedures and all the operations quite well. But we were based only in Latvia. It's a very small market, and we were constantly analyzing the options for expanding cross-border to other European countries, and looking for this very scalable and still safe niche with a demand for financing. We also had about a third of our portfolio in Latvia with agricultural land. So we saw the performance, we saw the growth, and actually we defined that it grows much faster than consumer lending in our case. And the niche is quite interesting because, for example, during COVID, it was almost not unimpacted. It's performed better than consumer sector because for farmers, basically not much has changed. Yeah. And also, agriculture is a product of first necessity. It's always in demand, and especially now during the Ukraine-Krise, it's highlighted even more. Yeah. Also, it is very scalable because, for example, one of our products is financing the harvest, seasonal funding. So their collateral is grain, but grain price is determined by the commodity exchange, so it's the same all over Europe. It also makes it easier to evaluate the collateral in this case. Also, with land and machinery, it's quite straightforward. You have real estate agencies who are doing these evaluations. So machinery price is basically also quite similar in many countries. So all of these small factors, the trend, the demand, also the scalability. We checked many Eurostat data, and we checked many researches made by, for example, European Investment Bank about the underfinanced level of small and medium farmers. So there is actually a big gap of farmers which are not covered by traditional institutions like banks. So yeah, it just makes sense for us as a platform to solve this problem, to help the small farmers to grow and to provide a new asset class for investments to retail investors. Basically, it's just very easy decision in the end when you put all these factors together.
But you're coming from the real estate sector. These loans are different from real estate. So
yes, sure.
How you learned how to deal with farmers and so on.
Yeah, we needed to build some knowledge, of course. This is understandable. Something we already knew, so we were quite good at financing land, and also we had experience with debt collection, which is also very important, understanding the risk levels. But machinery and especially grain financing was new for us, so we used this approach. We were partnering with agricultural suppliers and sellers of machinery and so on, and with every partner we scheduled some sort of lecture where they share their experience, like a 2-hour video call with our team. So it's also quite new for the team. We wrote down questions, and even up to date they still consult us on some issues if we have questions. So we build these relations when we share experience. But it wasn't that hard, because it's business lending, SME lending, and we have experience in that. Only the agricultural part was new. Also a funny detail, I myself, to get even more experience, at home I have downloaded this farming simulation on my PC. So it's basically not a game, but it's a real life simulator with all of the machinery, all of the it's like real life, so basically it gives you much faster option to experience all of the field. It's quite nice. The simulators are very you can learn a lot very fast. Actually, yeah.
So how much time you spend on farm simulations?
I don't know, maybe some 20-30 hours. Yeah, just doing it. Yeah. Of course, it's not. It's the main. I don't spend much time, but I was amazed because they have all of the brands of machinery and all this. In real life, so it's basically a very good simulation. Yeah. I've heard many people also learn flight simulators on similar apps.
Yeah, they are really detailed.
Yeah, they're super detailed. Yeah, people are flying, Boeing flights transatlantic for 7 hours, sitting like this. So yeah, it's a bit too crazy, but yeah. So did some learning from all of the sites. Yeah, we also learn a lot from clients and so on.
Was it also an option for you to use a marketplace for issuing loans in the beginning? Because why you started an own platform? Because it's quite difficult, I would say, to build up it from the scratch.
It was very difficult, but of course it's possible to attract funding from marketplace. But basically, you're one of the loan originators on a platform. You're not building your community. You're not building your platform. So this was not the way we wished to do it. So because we already have an existing loan portfolio, so this was not the ambition we were looking at Landa. We want to build the leading European agricultural platform. This is our ambition, and with marketplace structure, it's not possible. Yeah, but it was very hard because we started during COVID, and after several scam cases hitting the industry, so there was trust went down for this type of investments. But since we have other profits and business profits, we were self-sustained. We were not in a hurry, so we had time, and I think it took us almost a year to get to establish connections with influencers, with community, to prove that we're doing everything properly. We also checked some mistakes of previous platforms. We started using Lemonway immediately from day one. Now it's getting more and more popular. We also went to the regulator here in Latvia and received the guidelines, how should the platform be built and so on. So we did these small efforts, and they helped us in the beginning to start. But still, a year is a lot for a platform, and of course a lot of work was implemented. Platform is built in-house, so our CTO with me, we just sat in the evenings, writing the math, the logic, and with every function it became even more and more complicated. Of course, later on we got outsourced the math to some more experienced guys, and so on. So yeah, it was quite challenging, but now we feel like we achieved some sort of first step with Landa, and yeah, looking forward to grow.
I think especially this thing with Lemonway was really complicated in the beginning, right? Because I heard from my community that they had to upload, for example, account statements from the last 3 or 12 months, and some of the investors are not willing to do this if they are starting on a complete new platform.
Yeah, I mean it's a balance between additional safety for investor and some additional documents. Of course, for us, maybe it was easier, not to implement Lemonway, and we would get more like investors onboarded. But I think it's just not correct to hold investors' money on your bank account, because at some point it's like millions of euro, and you're like holding in regular banks. There is no protection, no structure. It's just not the way the platform should be built. So yeah, but I think Lemonway also is doing a great job at developing the procedures. They also hire new staff, and it gets better. Yeah.
And what can happen without all this structure? We saw at Groupier, for example, they started without KYC at all.
I mean, it's just no KYC. It's easier to onboard.
Yes,
you can invest like immediately, but the risk, I don't think, is not comparable.
Yeah.
With Lemonway, it can take you a couple of days, maybe is the least. In some cases, it goes like in the first day, but risk-reward balance is not just. Yeah, so I think of course now regulation asks to obligatory to provide this fund segregation, and at some point all the platforms will use it. We just did it before, and
yeah, we see it also on Estate Guru right now, and I think other platforms will also follow. I'm not sure if they're all using Lemonway, but they will use probably some payment solution.
Yeah, there's not so many solutions. Lemonway, I think, was the most popular, but the case for bigger platforms which are already working, it's very hard to transfer all the accounts to Lemonway. It's a lot of work. Yeah, it's much easier to do it like from the beginning.
I personally like the solution. It's better than Wäre, for example, because there you have an own account with your own account data and so on. So it's more confusing than Lemonway. There you have this Viben.
Yeah, you have this Viben. Yeah,
it's quite nice, I think.
Viben is basically like your account. You send money to yourself, and it doesn't even matter what you write in the payments details. You can write hello. And you cannot make any mistakes. So if you have the correct Viben, you will receive the money.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. So you made this, or you are right now in the process to rebrand LendSecured to Lande. Why you have done this, and how far is the process right now? We see now the new website since a couple of days.
So it's quite simple actually. We had two brands, Lande for farmers and LendSecured for investors. And at some point when we started to grow more rapidly, we understood that we would like to combine those brands, because they're parts of one whole. And Lande, just the naming and the brand, we have it like for 3 years. Already registered, so we thought it describes better what we do, and it would be more easier, of course, for us to manage one brand, single brand, and for community also, it would be much better to communicate from single brand Lande. So this is just also some common sense.
Makes sense. So every publisher also have to rebrand the content now.
Yeah, sure, and it gives many benefits if we expand to other countries. It's one brand for whole Europe. It's much better. I like the Lande. It's more easier to pronounce.
It's nice. But it's Lande.finance, right? So
now, yes, we have local domains in the Baltics, .le, .e, and some other countries already booked several domains. Lande Finance, we see it as a central brand, and more or less for investors, investing community to answer it.
So you started back in the days in the COVID crisis, I think, with your with LendSecured. And I remember when we had the first call together, you were not really happy about the situation, and it was pretty difficult to grow a platform. Is it today with the Ukraine? Is it somehow comparable, or is it completely different?
The surprising thing, it's completely different. In March, I think the date when they invaded Ukraine, with full force, it was February 24th or something. And I read, I follow closely the groups on Telegram and Facebook, the temporary insurance industry. I saw many platforms complaining about the decrease of new investors and some outflow of funding. But incredibly for us, we had difference. So the March was a record month for new registrations and for new investments. I think there are several reasons for that. In the beginning, there was a small shock about the Baltics, what can happen, how the war can develop. But then now we understand that Latvia and the Baltics are part of European Union, part of NATO, and Russia is not having, for many reasons this will not happen. Otherwise, it will be just the beginning of the Third World War.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter in Baltics or other countries. But so this topic went off the table, and second thing, it impacted a lot the agricultural industry. Prices for grain and for fertilizers skyrocketed, and agriculture became very demanded investment type. Yeah, it's a safe haven. Basically now, of course, also some an instability in the economy, and a lot of factors are talking now that agriculture is a nice place to put your money. And unfortunately, and very sad about the events happening in the Ukraine, and we wish it to resolve as soon as possible. But for the platform side, it had some pluses for growth. Yeah,
positive effects.
Yeah. Yes. This is an absurd situation, but it happened. Yes, and so it's totally different from COVID. Yeah.
And we see also on Lande, I think, your interest rates didn't increase that much, but we see, for example, on Mintos, you get right now loans up to 16 and 18%. And before Ukraine, you would be happy if you have a loan for 10 or 11%. So how do you see the P2P industry in general right now? Do you have any thoughts on this?
Oh, this is a nice topic, but it's hard for me to comment about other platforms. I think I can just say that for us, we feel that we don't need to put, to marketize or somehow to advertise a lot our product, because I think it's a niche which not many platforms cover, and there's not so much options to invest in agriculture, especially directly with such a nice rate of return, with collateral, with low LTV. So we are quite happy for the results now. And also, you need to understand that the rates you mentioned on other platforms, they might be for payday loans, which have effective APRs of several hundreds of percents. But on Lande, oftenly the rate you see on the page is the exact rate the farmer receives, because farming is, it's not an easy business, and not so all of the farmers, can afford 20 APR. So there should be a reason why they borrow money, and this is also a hard topic for us. We have several farmers who declined, for example, Lande offers, because the rate for the farmer was too high. If in the future we'll be able to provide for high quality farmers the rates around 8 APR, this could open for us and for the community the whole sector of farmers, and to increase the volume and so on. So. But we're looking also to implement these grades of risk levels of projects, and maybe also variable APR for the risks. So maybe we'll give it a try and see how it goes. Yeah.
But if you're speaking about 8% loans, then you are probably directly also competing with the banks, right?
Sure, and you get the quality of the clients of the banks, and this is a total different story. But in bank, bank is earning the interest and paying 0% for deposits. But here, investor gets all of the interest rates which bank is earning. So for investor perspective, this is a very nice deal, I would say. Get the risk quality of a banking loan and receive most of the interest. Because in Latvia, banking rate for business starts at 5%. Yeah. We have mortgage rates around 1.5, up to 1.8, but business it's higher. And now with rising Euribor rates, it will be even more higher. Yeah. So basically, 8 APR, it's a good rate for the farmer.
And for the farmer, it's also a topic with the speed of how fast they can get their money.
Yeah, sure. In this way, we're the fastest, so no one can compete. And most of the loans already now is signed fully remotely. So farmer can continue working, call us, and sign it on the same day, and receive funding in a couple of days. And banks are in this way are much slower. They ask for a lot of documentary and so on. We have our own scoring methods and how we estimate the farmers, and this is a separate topic which we cover in a separate call. It's a bit complicated, but we can do it pretty fast, I would say.
But last week there was a farmer here also in the office, and he literally get the money in the end of the day, right? So he signed everything, and the project was online on Lande in the evening.
Yeah.
So it's really fast.
Yeah, if sometimes farmers receive it already the next day, the money for them it's crucial because for many reasons they have, for example, they found a good machinery which they want to buy from the auction or something, and they need the money immediately. They cannot wait, and the discounts they get from buying this machinery compensates fully the rates they pay to us. If they would go to banks, they would not be able to buy it. Also, they can refinance later, just some sort of bridge loan, like they do it in real estate. They buy it with our financing, and then they can refinance to the even lower rates. So, a lot of options how to use our financing properly. Yeah.
Just to get a feeling, the comparison between banks and Lande, how long would it take to get the same loan like last week from a bank?
Oh, I mean, at some point it just could not be possible because, for example, if the farmer has not, doesn't have this legal status as a company, bank could just decline it because it's not by the guidelines. Banks are, after 2009 crisis, they are highly regulated because they are the basis of our economy. They should be very regulated because, otherwise we cannot guarantee the deposits. And this is how it should be. And this is why actually European Union lobbied this regulation for platforms to provide different channels for small, medium businesses, because banks should not do it. They should not, take the risks. They are not ready to it. They are not digitalized enough. They are not flexible enough. So I'm not sure that he would get a loan from a bank just because of the bureaucracy. And even if he get it, it would take the first time going to bank around a couple of months, I would say. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really, yeah, because they're so slow. You can apply for a loan and you can get a call in a week, like next time. So, and you don't have anymore the direct option to call the manager in Latvia because they remove the costs, they fire many people, they automate processes. And yeah, basically, if you apply for a loan, you cannot call anyone, just wait. And it can take days, It's incredible.
And not possible probably for the farmers. So, yeah.
Sure, even opening an account takes a week. So if you don't have an account in this bank, this is like already 2 weeks spent on nothing. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
Okay, one other thing, what makes life easier probably for Lande is this concept of an anchor investor. So someone who will finance your projects, that the community or that the farmer can get the loan instantly. So who are these anchor investors and how much do you have from them?
Yeah, so anchor investor is important us to guarantee that the loan will be funded, because it will not be a good situation if we publish a loan and we're not able to gather the money from the investors and we cancel it. So basically that would mean that people would lose time and the funds would not, work. It's a cash drag, as we call it. Yeah.
You saw it on several real estate platforms that it takes months or weeks to finance a project.
In the end, it could decrease a lot your final rate. So to avoid it, and of course, we need to guarantee the funding for the farmer. It's bad also for him not, to get it. So he also has plans. So we implemented this feature, which is called Anker-Investor. Basically, what we did, we also work with high net worth investors because we're 10 years in lending. We have contacts, and we just arranged with them separate, you can call it like a trust. So it's a pool of money from high net worth investors currently it's around 300,000 euros, which we can use as we decide to. So there is a fixed rate which they get. It's actually lower than investors get, since they get a fixed rate of 9%, but they don't need to manage this daily processes, so they get the fixed 9%. Which is also nice. And we use this financing to co-finance loans, to close them faster, to guarantee the funding, and then we publish them on the secondary market. So you can see that there is a part which is called Anchor Investor Sales, and it's important to understand that there's also good loans, they're not delayed, there's also nothing bad of them, and in some way they're even better than the primary market because you can earn immediately, so you don't need to wait for funding loan.
Yeah.
But the risk is that not all loans are co-financed in this way. So if you don't invest in primary, you just can lose the option to finance it. But in the way, if you see something selling on the secondary market from Anker Investor, they're fine quality loans. and it's a good option also to invest your funds.
And these investors do we have public information who they are, or is it they are completely private?
This is also asked. I've been asked about this previously, and it's the same as we don't want to disclose like any of our investors publicly. If we invest on a platform, I'm not able to disclose other personal information of the people. But of course, all of the AML and due diligence checks are made. They also invest through Lemonway, so they have opened the account with Lemonway, uploaded all the IDs, and those are local citizens, with business profits from Latvia. They pay taxes and so on. So we don't make our business in other way, because the ambition is to grow a big platform, and we don't allow any risks in this field. So there is no need to worry about the profile and so on.
But you mentioned high net worth individuals.
Yeah.
Are we speaking about individual investors or about institutional investors here? Is this Anker-Investors?
No, this is private individuals which have their own business profits, which decided to invest in our projects.
Is it also possible that I can give you, let's say, 100K and then you put it into the pool?
I think it's possible, yeah. Okay. I think we didn't provide it publicly because, we know these people for many years. It was easier to establish it. But to provide it as a service, we need to, to create as a service in general with an IT solutions marketing. And of course, it's a bit different story. Yeah. But we thought about implementing it. Yeah. I heard some several platforms have these options also.
I think it sounds a little bit like this Bondora Go and Grow product for them, right? So you have a pool of loans and money, and then you get out your fixed interest rate.
It's quite similar, yeah. But we at this point we don't advertise it still, yeah, because
maybe it's a nice option for the future.
Yeah, we have a list of options we want to implement, but the team is growing, and we try to.
Yeah, maybe we can directly speak about this list from the future. So what are the future plans of London?
Oh, yes. So we decided to finish all the started big projects now. So the big thing for us is to finish branding fully. German translations, some digital elements and so on, and of course the cabinets also will be rebranded. So it's also a big part of the job. And many people are involved, designers, front-end programmers, back-end and so on. It's a lot of work, and unfortunately, we need to focus more on originating new loans, but we need to finish this first. So this is number one. The second, of course, is a license, ECSP, which we want to receive. All the documents are prepared. We have issued them to the regulator. We're now waiting for the feedback. License is also crucial for the platform, and we want to receive it this year. If it will be possible from the regulator side, I think we will succeed, because for them it's also a new license, and they actually don't know exactly how to create this process. But
But you expect it in November, I heard, right?
They should issue it until November, but you know how it is with regulation. In most of the countries, it's very slow, and we are not able to impact it. So
maybe it will be also November 2023.
There are risks they can extend this. There are already talks in the ISMA, which is a German regulator, so that they can extend the period, unfortunately. But still, we already implement most of the features, the segregation, a lot of stuff. So yeah, license in some way is just, an approval, but still you need to make a good platform in general, like without license still, yeah. And we already have the permit from regulator to perform crowdfunding, which is also important. You can see it on our webpage under transparency, this tab, with all the balance sheets of Lande, and this regulator letter that we are permitted to perform crowdfunding, which is also important.
Yeah, I saw it.
Because they already looked into a platform structure. So of course, one also big plan for expansion and for fuel the growth of Lande. We are finalizing now our funding round. So we will getting some risk capital from investors. Basically issuing new shares of Lande, and we are raising €500,000, and this money will be used to onboard new team members and expand into new countries. So there's also a lot of work, a lot of presentation of investors, pitches and so on. And we're doing this 500,000 in two halves. First half will be from angel investors, professional investors for doing the business type, and second will be raised through seeders. So we also publish this information before the round. So maybe some of our investors would also like to own a part in Lende, and we're also thinking about some perks by investing in this campaign. Yeah, so.
Yeah, maybe a mug from Lande or something like this, or a hoodie.
yeah, it depends. Yeah, this is on the marketing team side to create. But maybe even some cashback or so. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
You can also take a look at Mintos, for example. I think they made also some different levels, and they have also some internal communication for investors
some insights and some private
it's also nice.
talks. Yeah, it's also nice. Yeah.
You mentioned this balance sheets on your transparency side. Do you also plan to have them audited or audited in your report? Because right now you don't have it, right?
Yes, because last year actually was the first full year of LendSecured, so performance, and now we have a deadline until the end of June, I think, to perform, to finish the balance sheets. Yeah, and afterwards we're also planning to create some auditors. So yes, but a nice. I don't think a lot of things will change because the platform is still rather small, and you can see all the positions quite well already now. And the good news is the platform is profitable from the day one. So basically, last year it was already profitable for us. It's also
happy to hear.
Yeah.
So, what was the biggest mistake in the development of your platform? Do you have one, or everything was fine? I think, especially at the beginning, it looked very difficult for you because nobody knew at this time, okay, what is happening with the P2P industry, and then starting a new platform. I thought, okay, that must be really difficult in that time.
I mean, it was challenging, and it took a lot of energy and a lot of private, effort from me, like meeting with influencers, bloggers, and talking and persuading about our platform quality and loan quality. I don't think we made mistakes in general, like big mistakes, because it's just the path we needed to go through, and this is just amount of time you need to waste to start a platform now. Before it was easier, but there are other minuses, and we see what has happened when it goes easy. Some people maybe push too high and too fast, the growth. We like our steady growth. We are not in a big hurry because, for investors, the loan quality is what matters, not the size of platform. I think if it's profitable, of course. And we focus on the quality more.
I think you are the first CEO I interview now who has no fuck-up story from the past.
No, I surely do some fuck-up stories, but they're not, some large fuck-ups up to date, and we try to avoid them, to play it safe.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's come to your personal story. Do you also invest your money? I heard from some employees they also invested in Lande with their own money.
Yeah, they do it. Yeah, I was also surprised because we don't push them to do it in any way.
But what are doing you with your money?
So I also invest in platforms. I invest in different platforms because I follow the industry since its beginning. It's its inception with Mintos in Latvia and other platforms, invested Guru and so on. But I think now I decrease my positions because I have other priorities. I also invest in Lande for sure, just mostly for me. I do it to see the experience of investors, how everything works, and I also get a nice rate, and I'm thinking to increase it because it's not a marketing, but I don't see for now better options because I know quite well the products, I know quite good the collateral, and I have this inside experience about the quality. But I also invest a little bit in crypto. I own real estate. I do some stocks through the broker apps, so a lot of things. But I mostly invest my time. My resource I have is my time, and our business is growing. So this is my main investment, which I'm performing. Yeah.
Human capital.
Yeah, human capital. Yeah, and also portfolio is growing. So basically, this is partially also my portfolio, which grows. So it's hard. Yeah, I try to separate it, but it's hard. Yeah.
And when you started Lande or LendSecured, how did your days change since that day? Because before in real estate, you probably had no contact to publishers or the bigger investor community.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I love this change because real estate business is quite boring. You know, we had credit lines from banks. We met like once a year to sign extension for credit line. We met maybe sometimes with high net worths to discuss it. It was quite boring, and this was, you know, we called it like a pension fund because it's such a boring business. We had all the operations established, there was nothing I could, you know, develop myself and express and spend any energy. So yeah, now it's much more. For me, I like it much more. Meeting new people, talking about what we do, you know, sharing these goals and some plans and
receiving on fairs.
Yeah, sure, and receiving feedback from investors in Telegram. We have a very active Telegram group actually, also with people sharing experience, maybe some saying about some mistakes, and it's very nice because we can react very fast and to improve something.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday. There was a mistake on the web page, and it was really directly in the Telegram groups.
Yeah, and we react immediately. Yeah. Also, you came and we discussed this improvements of communication in the delayed loan communication. Yeah. So what the problem was, we did all the procedures, but we were bad at communicating with investors about them because you know, different people want lawyers perform the procedures and communication was some support. So but we find a solution now. The person who is doing debt collection will directly inform investors about the procedures. So and yes, also now this guy is in Telegram, so he'll answer questions. So this is just developing organism, you know. I like it a lot. It's quite fun.
Yeah, it was quite nice. This was an email from an investor, and it came last week, I think. And I could directly transport the issue to you, and then we found a solution. So
yeah, this is why I sit with colleagues, you know, to see all this react and see how we solve things and how it grows and develops. And this is just very, you know, interesting process. And
yeah.
I'm looking forward to spend some 10 more years at least in building platform, and at that point we will see how big it is and what are the future plans.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks to Stefan for the email last week. So
thank you, Stefan.
you make the platform a little bit better. So maybe one last question for you. What are you doing in your free time beside playing Farm Simulator?
I don't spend so much time. This is not the correct way to understand it. But you know, just like regular people, spending some time with my wife, with my dog, with my mops, walking on the beach, venting from the daily routine, spending time with family, going on some family holidays and some traveling, and just like all the usual people do, nothing extraordinary.
Yeah. Yeah, I also met the mops. He's really funny.
Yeah. You cannot go very far with it for the walks, but yeah.
Yeah. It's a really lazy dog.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for the interview, Nikita. Is there something you want to add in the end or address to the community?
I mean, the things are important: to stay safe, to stay healthy. Good luck with your investments and journey of financial freedom. And yeah, all the best.
Thanks, Nikita.
Thank you, Lars.